Morning, everyone. We're Beer About It, episode number 7, I believe. Derek's getting things set up here. I'm Chris.
I'm Derek.
My brother Derek.
Good morning.
So we get on and we kind of just talk about beer, anything, everything about beer. We're at Baerlic Brewing in Portland, Oregon today.
Yeah, so we're sitting in the brewery at Baerlic in Portland. Our promises have come true. We said we'd be live from a brewery, and here we are.
Here we are.
So,
sorry we're a little bit late, guys. Had a little bit of issues connecting with Wi-Fi here, but we're here. Thanks for joining us. Shannon, Mom, JD, how's it going? Good morning.
Good morning, guys. So Baerlic Brewing. So we kind of reached out to these guys. They have a brew fest that they're doing today. I think we got a poster here for it.
All right.
To kind of show you. So adopt a hop. We posted a couple things yesterday or day before yesterday about this. So we felt this was a perfect opportunity to reach out to these guys and kind of plug their event, drink some beers.
Yeah, so the event is from 2 to 6 o'clock today. They're in Southeast Portland. Another really cool area here in Portland. I've never really reached out, really kind of ventured out in this area, but a lot of little breweries are going on around here.
Yeah. Southeast Portland's killer. Come out here. Things are popping up all over the place.
So these guys have 6 breweries. The Adopt a Hop thing is kind of like it's a hop celebration. It's really kind of single hop pale. So I think we've noticed a lot of that going on, sort of singling out what each hop is and what the different characteristics. We've talked a little bit about that on our show a few times.
Right.
So I think it's going to be pretty cool to taste some things. We've got a few things here that they've done. The other breweries haven't showed up yet, but
yeah, it's a little bit later in the day. I think they open at noon today here, so if you wanted to get here early and come check it out, the festival starts at 2, I believe. But yeah, we were talking to Ben, one of the owners, founders, and brewers, and he was just kind of telling us, like, when we're home brewing and we're doing test batches and we're trying to single out how a hop's going to work well in a brew, whether it's in the boil or whether we're going to dry hop with it, this single hop kind of varieties were kind of where that came from. And so that's kind of what's happening today. There's going to be a home brewer association here today.
Yeah, they've got F.H. Steinbart, which is, we just found out was the oldest home brewer supply place in the nation or in the country.
Right, the oldest one, yeah.
Which is pretty cool in Portland here. So they're going to be here sort of talking about some of the new things that are going on with hops. If you're a home brewer, definitely tune into that. Or come down and check out what they're doing. There's also Crosby Hop Farm is going to be here. They're out of Woodburn. We've gone there a few times.
Big hop farm. Great guys.
Yeah. So I mean, it should be a pretty good deal. You guys should check it out. Come down, talk to the hop farmer is going to be here, so you can talk a little bit about with him and see a little bit more about
totally.
what hops are, what's going on with the hops. Wendy, good morning. Heather, she's right.
Yeah, we have
there.
our entourage
good
here.
Morning.
We have our entourage here this morning helping us out.
We got the kids here today too.
Yeah, we got the kids here. Tatum just arrived yesterday from Colorado, so she's here watching for the first time.
Yeah. So real quick, get this stuff out of the way here, guys. We're going to talk about hop varietals today. If you're just now tuning in, the like button, the share button, please do all of those things for us. Help spread the word a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys have seen we're filming from Growler Cafe today and sort of sharing it with our Beer About It page just to kind of get a few more views. I guess we were getting 5,000 and we jumped down to
like 1,600 or something.
1,600.
It's tough, we're trying to balance. We're trying to move everything to the Beer About It page.
Right.
At the same time, our followers come through Growler Cafe. So I think we might kind of bounce back and forth as we kind of gain popularity with the other site. So anyway, Elizabeth, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions or anything, we'll try to keep an eye on this and answer some questions along the way here. We do have our new camera and microphone going on, so making steps into that whole YouTube channel thing that we've got going on. So
yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah,
super exciting
Once
stuff.
again, if anybody's out there that knows how to do any of that editing and all of that, then reach out. Message us. We'd like to get you here and learn a few things if it's just nothing else than that. So
absolutely. So a little bit about Baerlic before we get started. Excuse me. The owners, Ben and Rick. I think his name is Richard, but he goes by Rick. Mm-hmm. They've been in business for about 3 years, almost 3 years. I think June is going to be 3 years for them. Longtime homebrewers, grew up in Idaho. We'll talk a little bit about a beer that it just kind of did that's homage to the town that they grew up in. Yeah, we're winning awards at these homebrewers festivals, and said, let's jump in feet first and open a brewery. So here they are, 3 years later, and doing awesome stuff. This festival is just a perfect example of some of the events and benefits that they do. So yeah, that's the first thing. The other thing I wanted to mention is they really try to work closely in proximity in Portland with all of their suppliers, their vendors, and everything that they do to really try to stay connected to their beer. It's a really important thing for them. We were speaking with Ben earlier back here about his goals and where they wanted to be and the size they wanted to be, and they really want to stay true to what they're doing and really want to stay true to the small feel and be able to really experiment with small batch beers and keep things local. So
yeah, they're doing some fun stuff, like small batch stuff. So they're always kind of trying new things. We're tasting one of the sours that Ben was super excited about how it turned out. I'm pretty excited about trying it as well. As you know, we're huge sour fans, and yeah, that's what we're doing.
So as a few people kind of pipe in here, Brent, want to say hi to you. Beer for sure.
Marty, what's
good morning.
up? So if you guys haven't been here, it's pretty cool, family-friendly place. The kids have been playing the big Jenga over there this morning while we're doing some research. Bring your own food in here. It's kind of an industrial feel. They've got the whole place open up today, so if you come down today and check it out, you can kind of walk through there. All where we're at. We're in the back here where they're doing all the brewing. They've got barrels behind us here, so kind of cool. You can kind of check it all out, talk to everybody, find out a little bit more about it. Alvin, thanks for tuning in here.
Yeah, he wants to know more about sours, which we're going to talk a little bit about sour. I think it's at the end of the lineup, so stick around for that for sure. Right. Matt Coward is on. Matt, good morning.
Good morning, Matt. Yeah, Alvin, dude, just keep tuning in, man. We try to squeeze a sour in every time we can.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know. We want to start.
Yeah, I think we're pretty ready to start drinking some beer. It's past 10:30, so.
It's 10:30 somewhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Do you want me to start off?
Yeah, sure. Before we start, Elizabeth, did you say this place is in Portland? It is. Southeast Portland.
Baerlic. Baerlic. So Baerlic. What's Baerlic?
Baerlic, right? It's
Baerlic.
An old English word meaning of barley.
Yeah, right.
Right, of barley. Kind of a made-up word. We were talking to Ben about it, and he's like, it's kind of great because, Baerlic is kind of like our thing. Like, and nobody else really uses that verbiage.
Yeah, he had a little background in, I think, marketing, he was saying, and he was doing some projects with another brewery somewhere else in the country, and, and he fell in love with the name, and here it is, and I think it's great.
They've got a shirt on the wall out there that says, "Does a bear lick in the woods?" Yeah. They're like, just kind of funny stuff. So anyway.
Jennifer, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you haven't already shared this video, please share this video with your friends, anybody else who's interested in craft beer. And I think we're going to get ready and start drinking some beers, right?
Yeah.
Unless you got some more to share?
No. Well, we're going to start with, is the Pilsner yours, though? Didn't you do Pilsner? So let's start there. It's the lightest beer. I'll just let you start that one off.
Definitely. So the first one this morning is a staple for these guys called Eastside Oatmeal Pilsner.
Look how beautiful that is.
We're both oatmeal fans when it comes to just eating it and also using it in beer. It's really killer for mouthfeel. It gives you that creaminess that we kind of look for in a beer.
Yeah.
So this has raw oats in it. Raw.
Okay.
And they even describe it in the description as giving it that really creamy mouthfeel. That's exactly what they wanted to get out of it.
You see it a lot of times in stouts.
Right. So Santiam hops in this, sterling hops. They used imperial yeast. Nice, clean, crisp look like a Pilsner should look.
It's pretty. Look at that. The lighting in here is beautiful for these beers. Look at that on the screen there. Christy, I saw you tuning in. Good morning. Skip, what's up, buddy? How do hops fit into the flavor profile of sours? Well, that's an interesting question, Skip. Hopefully we'll get to that here. I'm not sure if this is dry hopped or not.
Let them know
it is dry hopped.
Yeah, we do appreciate it.
All right, let's taste this beer, huh?
Yeah, let's taste it. Yeah, definitely. So totally Pilsner in the nose, right?
Yep. Pilsner in the nose. What does that smell like?
Yeah, it's kind of
bready.
Yeah, I get that. Like, yeah, like you said bready,
Bready.
BREAD. Bread.
That's a word.
Thought you said bready. Bready.
Not bread. Bread, like
so yeasty, like baking bread at home.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like sorta. Yeah, that whole smell.
Ooh, hoppier than I expected it to be. So a little semi-dry, clean finish.
Super clean. It does have a heavier mouthfeel to it.
So
this is kind of creamy.
6% ABV for a Pils is actually kind of high.
A little higher than normal. Right?
Yeah, a 35 IBU, which tasting this, maybe this is the first beer I've tasted this morning, but to me it's coming across a little hoppier than 35 in my expectations. But
it's pretty good. It does finish a little bit dry.
And it comes out at 3.64 on Untapped as well.
These are great beers for spring, summer. You know, I think winter beers are, darker, heavier. This is going to be a good, like, hey, let's go out on the boat, let's go to the lake.
Yeah, this is a good beer for sure.
A nice light meal, barbecue, chicken,
I don't drink. I'll be honest, I don't drink a ton of Pilsners.
No, me neither.
But for what I have had in Pilsners in the past, I mean, this is good. I mean, I could drink this.
I'm appreciating these light beers a little bit more. I think IPAs, there's just so many bold flavors in there. These are really clean. It's kind of hard to hide some of those, like, mistakes, if you want to call them that.
Yeah.
I mean, characteristics that just happen. This is super clean. Well done.
Yeah, definitely.
Gentlemen. Yeah,
I like
well
it.
done.
Yeah, good job.
Jenny, Bo.
Morning.
Good morning. Cheers to you.
Bring on the IPAs, Brent.
IPAs.
Yeah, for sure. We're fans.
We got a couple of those too.
Next one, huh?
Right.
Is the Merville.
And
I have it.
Jeez, look at you.
In a row.
All right, do it up.
So, next beer. Merville Dry Hopped Wheat Ale, which is interesting. They do hop wheat ales, not often. Usually wheat ales come in to be a little bit lower in the IBU. This one comes in at 30, so it can be similar to the Pilsner we just had. Unfiltered, as you noticed.
Yeah, it looks like a wheat beer.
5.7 ABV. So this one is, they call it Merville because this is an homage to the town that the owners grew up in, which is Meridian, Idaho, which they call Merville. Meridian, M-E-R, Merville. They packed this with Meridian hops, so it's from the town, named in the town that they came from, and packed with the hops in the name.
I'm always the guy like, where did the name come from? Like,
yeah, right.
Tell me more about that little story. That little brainstorming session. Yeah, I wrote a couple of things on here. Meridian hops. The profiles on a Meridian hop. I figured we'd just kind of dive in a little bit to some of these hop varietals, and we've had a couple questions about that in the past. So a couple of the things that I came with, the aroma and the flavor. So it's a sugary, sort of a lemon flavor. They get fruit punch out of it, which is going to be interesting. Clean, crisp, and it also says it's really good for wheat beers.
Right. It says, I think in the description it said spring flowers, which gives me that. It says lemon balm, which ties into what you just said, lemony. So let's try this, baby. So hazy, guys. Good color though. Interesting.
Yeah, the dry hopping, you can smell. Like wheat beers are typically really malty flavor or malty smelling. You get a lot of hops in the smell of this beer.
Kathy says, Chris, you guys make me want to absolutely love beer, but I know the way to my heart is with food. What could I pair to bring out the best in the flavors? Oh, that's a good call. Yeah, that's a whole nother episode.
That's a completely different episode. But I would stick with something light. You know what I mean? It's kind of like wines, right?
Yeah.
White wines go with white meats.
Mm-hmm.
If you're vegetarian, this would be a great beer to go with a vegetarian dish. I think, depending on the sauces that you have going on.
What do you think of the beer?
Right.
Lemon for sure. Definitely get the lemon balm. I get that, like what they talk about, that like spring florally, like that first spring and the flowers are coming up. You get that like fresh flower smell.
No, like the IBUs are. Do you have specs on this beer?
Yeah, IBU is 30. So I said 30 I think in the beginning, but 30 and then 5.7 ABV on this, and Untapped comes at 3.8. So a nice wheat ale.
Good beer. It's a better wheat beer than I normally would drink because it does have that little bit of hops in there. And the smell is really great.
Silky mouthfeel, a little bit heavier than the Pilsner we just tried because it's unfiltered. But yeah, like, a chicken pasta dish, or like I mean, a sandwich, just like a nice, simple, like nothing too overpowering. Like what?
Yeah, and
what
the bold flavors. Like if you're going to like a really heavy red sauce or a really deep, like, you know,
like steak, this would not be something I would have.
Probably no.
This wouldn't cut through a steak.
I'll tell you.
Seafood?
Kathy, sure.
Yeah.
Kathy, you know what this goes with? This goes with sunshine.
Oh,
you know,
that's nice.
That's what I'm thinking. Sunshine, right here. Both of those last two beers, that's what it goes with, sunshine.
Which we need more of. Am I right or am I right? Jeez.
I was trying to peek out here a little
It was
bit.
sunny this morning. Yeah, that's true.
We're getting there. Okay.
Next on the list.
Shop class, right?
Shop class, yes.
So shop classes is number 7 of this series. So it's just a series, a single hop series that they do. A lot of places are doing that.
Yeah.
I think it started about 3 years ago. So, yeah, like I said, it's a single hop pale. This is a Centennial hop. The Centennial hops, I guess they call it like a super Cascade, right? So It's got the same qualities as a Cascade hop. Cascade is typically like a medium bitterness, citrusy, floral. This is a fairly inexpensive one. You see this a lot in a lot of different IPAs, pale ales. It's fairly readily available.
Used in dry hopping
Right, so they use it in dry hopping and in the boil. There's certain hops that they will only they typically use in dry hopping more than they would in the boil. This is something they use for both. So you get it's not quite as citrusy as Cascade, but still a little bit floral.
Oh, nice little amber color, a little bit darker than what we've been drinking here. A little bit darker malt profile.
Totally. So this is a 7.2% beer, 72 IBUs, and this is such a new beer. There's only 5 ratings on it, so it's not an Untappd. So come down, try this beer.
Yeah. So this is labeled
rated on Untappd.
This is labeled pale. This is a pale.
It's an IPA.
Oh, it's an IPA. Okay.
But an IPA is Indian Pale Ale.
Right.
So right.
Yeah.
I'm not educating you, but I figured.
Okay. When I saw the color and I heard the IBU, I was like, "This is a pale. It's a heavy pale."
Oh man, this is okay. So if you were to walk in here right now, this is what it smells like.
Smells like brewing beer, right?
This is such a beautiful smell.
Well, there's a fermenter behind us bubbling away, which is probably what it is that we're smelling. But
it smells. It reminds me of fall. It reminds me of fall because I think that's when we brewed our first beer.
Oh man, this reminds me of Chin Chopper.
Oh my gosh, it does.
Doesn't it? I think it's what's the malt? Does it give you the malt in it and what it was? Oh, it doesn't. 2-row, which is what we used in our Chin Chopper beer with Calapooya, I'm gonna guess is what's in this. Is what I'm getting out of this is the 2-row malt.
Yeah, so it starts the same. It definitely doesn't finish the same as our Chin Chopper. So if you guys had our Chin Chopper, it was one of the beers that we did our first anniversary beer. We did 1 year into business. We did it with Calapooya. Great beer. We finished it with a Simcoe hop hash, which really gave it a really dry, bitter finish.
Right.
The beginning of this beer is really similar.
Yeah.
Finish is different. Obviously, it's not as bitter. It's 72 IBUs. I don't know. It doesn't even taste like 72 to me.
And there's something in the smell that I can't figure out that I don't get in normal IPAs. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. Not bad. It's good. It's great. I get like alcohol-y. It's interesting because I smell alcohol, but when I taste it, it doesn't come through as being over alcohol-y for me.
Piney.
Yeah, a little piney.
Little piney.
Like fresh pine, like new pine, not like...
Excuse me. Ashley, good morning. Cheers.
Great beer, though. Great single hop beer. Definitely shows the profile of the hop they used, for sure. There's nothing hiding that. That's for sure.
I love it.
It's good.
It's good. I can drink a whole pint of that.
Definitely.
Let me just go ahead and finish that off. All right, what do we got going on next?
We have the cask beer.
Oh, so we had a couple... Alvin? No. Yeah. Someone came into the shop the other day and was really asking about it. He said he was going to be on here and he's going to call me out. I don't know if you're on here. Yeah, cask beers. He's like, I'm going to get on there. I'm going to call you out.
Cool.
I don't know if he's on here.
Real quick, so piney, describe piney. So when you say piney is like if you were to like bust off a pine branch, rub it in your hands and smell it, you get that really resiny pine smell of a tree, or like cutting a Christmas tree down and putting it in your house. That's it. So when you when we taste that, I guess we're getting it in the nasal senses too. We're smelling pine and getting that like bitterness out of pine, right?
Yeah.
Did I describe that right? I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I think that we get out of pine. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so cask beer. This is our first cask beer. Actually, I haven't had a cask beer. When's the last time you had a cask beer?
Dude, it's been a year, at least over a year. I don't ever. It's not like I don't know. I don't generally go that direction.
So if you ever walk into a pub and they have a cask beer on, sometimes you'll see a barrel sitting on the counter. Sometimes you'll see this big. It's actually a cask pump, but the handles are huge.
Yeah.
And basically, it's just a pump that siphons the beer out because there's no CO2 or pressure in the cask at all, which won't help it pour like you would in.
They might have a little bit, but not enough to continue to pour it all out. You know.
So cask beers, I just kind of pulled this off so you guys can get an idea of what it is. So they're unfiltered, unpasteurized beers. More or less, what happens is after the fermentation, they rack it over into a cask barrel, and it can be wood, it can be metal, it can be all sorts. It's just basically a vessel they hold it in. And in that vessel, they get a second fermentation out of that, which gives it a little bit of effervescence or some its own natural CO2, basically,
natural carbonation.
and just kind of matures in that cask. And it can be in the cask for a day, it can be in the cask for a week, and it could be,
And it's typically a warmer beer, isn't it? Room temperature.
Yep.
He had it in the cooler, I think, overnight, but.
Yeah, here it is. So you're not going to be much of a head on it or anything like that. I mean, there's a little bit of bubbles on this, but not much. So this is a Pioneer ESB. Pioneer going back to like old days making ESB. ESB stands for extra special bitter. I think Red Hook was one of the first ESBs.
So if you guys remember like the old school, Red Hook was like one of the people that came on, and ESB was their go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like the first IPA out there, right?
Wow, this is like
it's like all I smell is malt.
Yeah.
All I smell is. If you've ever been around brewing when they're steeping all the grains in the malts, this is what I smell. It's like I'm expecting like sweet grape nuts here. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Rye. It's rye.
Totally get that, like a rye IPA.
Which is funny because I've always been like, what's rye taste like?
Like that.
So it's not rye bread, but like if you were to take rye grain and just soak it and then drink some of it.
Yeah.
That's what it tastes like.
Yeah, I get caramely. It's kind of ambery a little bit to me. A little sweet.
A little bit sweet. Bread, like a whole grain bread.
Yeah, right. And what's cool,
this is good.
You know, it takes a certain drinker. I mean, like, so there's no bubbles. There's no
flat
carbon.
beer.
It's flat beer. So you got to get past that, and I think it like lends itself to the true flavors. There's like nothing else about this. They brewed it, early fermentation, rack it over into a cask, and then like let it be.
When they call it Pioneer, I think that's a great name because you know these sour beers that we try, these cask beers. This is how they used to do it.
Right, it's done.
Right,
drink it up.
You don't care how many bubbles are in it. You don't care.
Right.
You know.
Interesting.
I like it. I think it's sessionable. What does this come in at? Do you have any any specs on this beer?
He didn't.
Oh, he's dropping the ball, guys.
Well, we were talking to. I don't think he had. We didn't have an IBU or anything
else here.
No, I don't know. We were talking to Ben, and he gave us some of the specs on the beer, but I got no ABV, I got no IBU on it or anything. So they release, by the way, Baerlic releases a cask beer every Friday. So it's different every Friday. Come down to Baerlic, they'll do a cask.
You know what's fun to do is try a beer on draft and try. I know some places do the same beer cask.
Oh, right.
CO2 and nitro if they can. It's really interesting to see the differences in just the way that it was conditioned, and the carbonation levels sort of change things too. Yeah. Oh, it looks like we lost our.
No.
Oh, your storage is full.
Storage is full. We're good.
Got it.
Don't mind me.
Instagram is gone.
Up close.
Oh, we're back. We're back on Instagram again. Okay.
Cask beer. We did a cask beer.
It's the weekend. Hey, so if you guys are watching us and you think that we're spilling out bullshit, excuse my language. Oh my gosh. No, seriously, like, you know, like we do as much education as we can. And, you know, I know sometimes our facts might be off. And if you have some corrections, please, you know, feel free to chime in, let us know, you know, bust us up, dude. I don't care. Brent, Nitro, question about that. Nitro, so if you've seen Guinness, you've had a Guinness before. Guinness, and that's typically brewed with nitro. Well, I think it's always brewed with nitro. Tinier bubble. The bubbles they cascade down. Really creamy mouthfeel.
Right.
The bigger bubbles give off like a more dry, like a dry sort of flavor. I think the bigger. It's funny how like just air in the beer gives, or whatever, gas in the beer gives a different flavor to it.
You tend to see darker beers. I mean, they're doing them all now. Trust me, like everything's on nitro now, just to kind of try it. But most of the time, you see like darker beers. Like our chocolate shake porter we sell is commonly on nitro that we sell at the cafe.
Sure.
So, good morning, Dakota. Somebody asked if we're selling beer about it shirts.
We need to.
Before we left the house this morning, he's like, we need to. And we totally need to.
And just a heads up, if you guys want them, I mean, we have a Facebook page. We've got we're going to get our retail stuff going online. You'll be able to buy some of our stuff there. Give us like 6 months. We're in the middle of a ton of projects right now. This year's going to be amazing with Baerlic Cafe. So give us some time, but just a heads up, these beer shirts are backwards and they will be printed backwards. That'll be kind of our...
Totally, it's our tag, man.
Our shtick.
Our shtick.
Shtick. I like that. Dakota, I was just talking with her. So she just went to Ireland.
Oh, really?
So she's drinking the real deal.
Oh, dude.
She's telling me like Guinness is like completely different over there.
Oh, I bet. Like,
and she's not a dark beer drinker. She's an IPA drinker.
But you can't go to Ireland and not drink.
Well, she went over there and she's like, "There's no IPAs on." I guess she tried a Coors Light. She said it was horrible as well. Which I don't, you know.
Well, next time you go, actually, we're going to Ireland. We need to go to Ireland.
Anyway, hey, cheers, Dakota. Good to see you. Nice chatting with you the other day.
Let's drink the sour. I'm excited about the sour.
All right.
Chatting it up.
Sour. Harshmallow. Here, I'll let you pour. I'll drink. I'll talk. Oh, no. Did I say the shop class? Okay, so I was wrong earlier. The shop class single pale. I said that was the number 7 beer. It's not. I don't know where it goes in the series here, but the Harshmallow is their Woodworker series, which is their barrel series.
It's backwards, but it says
They just started bottling, he said. So that's a big deal. They've got a cooler down here. You can get some of this stuff. A lot of times this small batch stuff goes really, really quick on draft. So definitely come down here and pick up a bottle of this. I mean, this stuff is going to age well, keep it in a good cold...
We got to stick around and finish this before we leave, right? I mean,
It's the weekend.
It's the weekend, right.
So this is the Woodworkers here. It's called Harshmallow. It's a Belgian blonde. It's aged in a neutral second-year gin barrel. Oh my gosh, my brother and I love me some gin barrels. For real. Not a big gin flavor.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like I like a good gin and tonic in the summer.
Yeah, right.
But it's not like favorite,
but the gin lends itself to such a great flavor in beer.
Botanical flavors.
We just had one at Fathead, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Fathead just had one. Not to plug too many places, but there's a couple of them out there. Pipe Wrench by Gigantic is a really not.
Lesson is, if you see a beer that says gin barrel aged, buy it.
And if it's barrel aged, you know what I mean. You're doing some good things. So this is dry hopped as well with an Ella hop, which has got a tropical, clean, piney flavor. They felt would sort of help pull some of those gin flavors out a little bit.
So it's a Belgian base, right?
Belgian
base, gold, which is going to be a little bit lighter malt.
It's a 9.1% sour, which is a little bit high for a sour. A lot of times they're in like the 5 to 6 range typically. There's no IBUs in this, and this rate's a 4.12 on Untappd.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm excited about this beer. Right. Oh, it smells amazing.
Kyle, yeah.
It smells really, really acidic to begin.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't it? Brett all over the place. The Brett yeast in this. Lemony.
Yep. Ooh. The gin barrel age is really, really good. This is the first gin barrel aged sour that I've ever had.
Yeah.
For me.
I think so too. We've tried a lot. I don't know.
Your shirts are backwards, but at some point you will need to flip your view so you can see that. So our YouTube channel, we have a regular camera here. When we get that going, there'll be...
Yeah. So a regular camera, not on our phones, we'll shoot things normal Anyway, yeah, I hear you, Nancy. Good call out.
Right. It messes with people's brains a little bit, which is kind of fun to do.
So now that I've let this kind of chill and resonate, like the hop in this.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the dry hopping of it, you definitely get it in the palate.
Which in the sour, it's like usually so far on the acidic side and sour side that you don't ever get that. And
yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, some of them have been that way, but not a lot.
So it helps sort of bitter it out, like like it's like putting. So if you're a cook out there, you understand the different. So you understand why you'll pitch. You'll put You'll put like an acid. An acid will do a lot, like some sort of acidity to to balance out your beverage or your food. That's kind of what I get the dry hopping to be in a sour beer. It sort of helps balance it out.
And I think you said a year age on this. This is a blend. They had a couple barrels that they blended for this, and then they added some fresh beer in, right? So a big thing that Ben was talking about was like they want to add a fresh aspect to a lot of their barrel aged stuff to kind of give it that brightness again after it's been aging for so long.
It also gets a second fermentation that way, I believe. I might be wrong here, but I think that's one of the reasons as well.
Yeah, well,
this is a pretty young beer in the bottle, but a lot of times when you get, like you saw us last week, if you guys watched our last week's episode, I think 2 out of 5 beers blew up, or maybe 3 out of 5 beers blew up. That was fermentation in the bottle.
Such a great beer, you guys, sour fans.
It's fruity.
Wine fans.
It's pretty fruity.
Pick up a bottle of this. It's in their cooler at Baerlic. You can't get this on tap. It's only in bottle. Nice wax bottle on this. Super cool.
What does it say on there? Did you read this?
I did not read it.
So do you guys have any questions? I think that's the 5 beers that we have going on for the day. We're going to finish this baby off. I'm sure Heather wants some of this beer too.
For sure. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. We got a couple more minutes here.
Tropical fruit, white wine, juniper. So,
yeah.
9.1, man. I'm going to feel this one. All right, so anyhow.
Come on in, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like, share, all of those fun things. Over here.
This is Tatum. If you guys haven't never met Tatum, this is Tatum. She's my daughter.
You guys have seen Boston before. If you're Mug Club members before, he's the one that picked it. So I've been passing all the blame off on him when everybody's like, you didn't pick me. I'm like, this is the guy to blame. So, yeah. Anyway.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks for tuning in today. This weekend. Have a great weekend. They're headed to the coast. We're going to go check out OMSI this weekend and do some Legoing it up. So
say goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Goodbye. All right, guys.
Cheers, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Thanks.
Beer back. Take care.